Hey guys, welcome back. This is Gimpys Gal. Now, this is going to be a little bit different of a video. I think I posted about this on my social media, so if you follow me there, you probably knew this was coming. But if you do not follow me on there, then this will be a nice surprise for you. Tomorrow, or actually today when you're watching this, is my birthday. And it's a big one for me. It's my 30th birthday. Yes, I actually admitted my age. But I've been kind of like, up and down about it. For a good portion of the year, I was very depressed about it and like not looking forward to it. I didn't want to talk about it. But the closer it's gotten, the more I've kind of accepted, like, okay, this is where I'm at. I'm happy. My kids are healthy. Like we're moving. Things are going good. Like I have a lot to be thankful for. So I'm okay with it and I will embrace it. So to celebrate my 30th birthday, I thought I would give you guys my top 10 games. So I'm going to share with you my top 10. Now, I'll be honest. I was originally going to do a top 5 because I understand a top 10 can be a little bit longer of a video. So grab a drink, grab a snack, and sit back because this is going to be a longer one. But I could not get it under 10. I just couldn't. I tried and I tried to be cutthroat and I couldn't do it. I also couldn't get it down to 10. Now, I have a list of 10. There's going to be a few honorable mentions because I just couldn't leave those games out. But I had to be cutthroat, and I also didn't want to assign a number to the games. I just wanted to say, hey, I like all these games. And I thought maybe I would tell you which one was my favorite, but aside from that, I just wanted them all to be on the same level. No one was better than the other. I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And Gimpy informed me that that's not how a top 10 works. In order for it to be a top 10, there has to be numbers assigned to it. So yes, I've assigned the numbers. I'm going to share all of that with you, and I'll show you the games, and I'll run through what I love about them. So it is going to be a little bit longer. I am a rambler. I'm a talker. So I hope you'll watch this. I hope you'll enjoy it and celebrate it with me. There will be a part 2. I'll tell you more about that at the end. But before I jump into the games really, really quickly, I did want to shout out, since I'm talking about favorites, my favorite local game store. I posted on social media the other day, just in general about supporting a local game store. We were not at the game store that we love. We were in a different town and I just happened to see a game store and snapped a picture. But support your local game store. Whether you live local to us or not, support local game stores because they really do keep this hobby alive. They give people a place to play, a place to meet people, and a place to buy them. So definitely support them. Our favorite is Gamers Armory. So if you live in the Raleigh-Durham area, definitely check them out. They are in Cary, North Carolina, and they're incredible. They have a good, huge area set up to play. They always have different games going on. They do have different nights scheduled for different games. But even on those nights, you can always find people playing many, many different games. And the people up there are just so incredibly helpful and nice. And it's a very It's a very nice and neat store. And it's pretty close to us, but we really, really genuinely love that store. So if you don't live local, you can check them out online. He's going to link their information in the description box. So go give Gimpys, I'm not even speaking properly, Gamers Armory, not Gimpys Armory, Gamers Armory some love because they deserve it. Enough rambling. Let's get into the top 10, starting with number 10. This one's heavy. So for my number 10 pick, it's probably not going to be a huge surprise if you've watched these videos. That is going to be Blood Bowl by Games Workshop. So we do have a few videos up of us playing this game. It was just kind of us playing and we just filmed it. We weren't really talking to the camera. We weren't really explaining anything. It was literally just us playing. So go check it out if you're interested in it. But I really do enjoy this game. One of my favorite things about it is painting the little the teams. Let me see if there's any in here. Are there any in here? I don't think there's any teams in here. No, they're not in here. But I'll show you one little piece here to show you an example because I loved painting these and I had a team that I painted. This was from my team. It's like a little it's a counter. You put it on the board and it's what you use to keep track of your score. But that was for my ogre team. Is that there? Or orcs. They were orcs, right? Yeah, orcs, not ogres. But it's just a fun game. It's a football game, but it's got a really cool dice system. It has this really cool set of dice that it's not numbered. It has to do with directions and hits and damage. And it's a versus, so it is competitive, which I do love. And it's just fun. I love football, so we get to do something that I enjoy, which is football. Yes, Gimpy does not really care much about football. But he likes this kind of football, and we did have a ball playing that. So this is my 10 pick. All right, so on to number 9, we have Dominion. This one is by Rio Grande Games. It is a deck building game. It is so much fun. I've played this so many times. It says 2 to 4 players. I was just trying to remember how many players. We have played it with just the 2 of us, and we've played it with other people. It's a lot of fun. It is very easy to pick up, but it is not easy to master. I'll be saying that about a lot of these games because a lot of them are easy to learn, but to win or to master, not so much. And this is a good example because you're not going to know who's winning or how you're doing in comparison to everyone else until the end of the game. So with this one, you have all your cards to choose from. There's different scenarios that you can choose, like which game you want to play, and it will tell you what you start out with, depending on how many players. And then you're basically trying to build your deck up. You're trying to get money. You're trying to get different cards that do different things, that get you access to different things. And the ultimate goal is to buy these points. There are point cards on the board as well. There's 3 of them. I think it's 1, 3, and 5, or I don't remember the number values on them, but there's 3 different point cards available. And once they are bought out, that's when it signifies the end of the game, and you count up your victory points, and whoever has the most wins. So you really don't know, unless you're paying super close attention to what everyone else is buying, you really don't know how you're doing. And we have played it with people who've tried to be sneaky and have tried to not let you see what they're doing or buy it super quick so you can't see what they're doing. It's just a lot of fun, but you really have no clue how you're doing or how anyone else is doing till the end. But it's definitely competitive. It's definitely addicting. And there are different expansions. We have a couple of them. There's different cards that can be added and taken out of different games. So it's not just your basic deck building game where it's going to be the same every time. It changes and different cards are added. Some are taken away. It's just a really good basic deck building game. So this one is my number 9. All right, for number 8, I have a Eurostyle, which all you guys know is one of my favorite styles of games. I absolutely love building and collecting and watching my whatever it is grow. So this is a great one for this. This is Agricola. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this one. It's by somebody, Rosenberg is the designer. It is for 1 to 4 players. It is a decent playtime. Usually this will take us an evening to play. I love it. I love everything about this one. I love the meeples. I love that it comes with actual little like animals, little wooden animals and the different things that you're trying to collect. Some games you're just going to get cubes. These actually give you the shape of whatever it is, and you get to build fences and you get to build farms, and it's just your, typical Euro style game. It's just a lot of fun, and I just really, about this one, I love the setup of it. I love the different pieces of it that come together to really, really make this one stand out to me, because I love meeples. I love collecting things, and when it gives me something fun and different, like an actual horse or an actual pig or actual grain, I'm going to be going nuts with that. Not an actual real life one, but you know what I mean, like the shape of one. So I really, really, really love this one. We haven't played it in a while because there's just so many of these Euro style games out there that I love, but this one was one of the first that I played, so it holds a special place for me because it was kind of the first, I think it was the first that we played to get me into that style. So I am obsessed with it. So again, this is Agricola, my pick for number 8. And on to number 7. This is a recent one. You guys probably saw us play this live. If you didn't, make sure you're following us on social media so you can see when we do this. This is a DVG game, and this one is called Down in Flames Locked On. So I just did a guesses on this, and I just did a live playthrough with Gimpy on our Facebook with this game. And I have to say, when I guessed it, I saw that the box said that it was a card game. So I instantly said, you know what? If it's anything like the premise of Atlantic Storm, not comparing it to Atlantic Storm, but if it is a card game, that's promising to me, because I'm not a war gamer. I don't love war games, but but I thought card games that are centered around a war theme could get me in the door, could get me interested. So I decided to give it a try. I also am obsessed with the components of this one because, as I said in my guesses video, the cards that you play with and the cards that have the planes on them, it actually looks like a cockpit. So I think it's so adorable how they set that up because it just makes you feel like you're in the moment. So I loved the setup of that game, and I do think it's relatively simple. Not simple play, but it's easy to learn, but it is, again, difficult to master. There's a lot of components to it. It is based in history, so you have like actual planes and actual things going on. There are campaigns you can play with it. It can be played solo, but I would not play it solo, but Gimpy might. It's just a good game. I just really enjoyed it. It wasn't boring like I thought, you know, when I think of war games. Unfortunately, sometimes some of them make me go a little hazy. Let's just be real here. But this one was a lot of fun. It was fun to play with Gimpy. It was fun to have you guys watch and interact with us. And I really loved it. So this one is my number 7. Again, I just love the components, and I love that it's a card game, and it's basically just you trying to eliminate the other plane. And it's not a super long. I think it has 6 turns in it. So it's another one that's pretty quick play. So you can get a couple of games in if you have somewhere to be and you want to just play a quick game. This is a great one. This is also good for beginners in war games, I think, because I certainly am, and I loved it. So Down in Flames locked on for number 7. Number 6 is one I've mentioned. I mentioned it in No Enemies Here Wargaming News when I did a questionnaire for him. He asked me what some of my favorite games are. I did mention this one, and that is Steampunk Rally. This one is by, what is that, Roxley Games? Yeah, I believe it's by Roxley. This one is so different from anything I've ever played. I've seen a few other games that have a steampunk look or a steampunk theme to them, and I think I've even referenced to this specific game. I really like that steampunk feel to it, so that obviously, like the box, the look of it drew me to it. But what really draws me to this is that it has 2 of my favorite components to games, and that is that it's a race, so I'm trying to beat whoever I'm playing against. It's kind of a deck building because you're using cards to build your train, your steampunk car to race. And it also has dice components that come into play. There's a building phase, and then there's a racing phase. And in the racing phase, you get to different areas where you will get to activate different parts of your ship that you put together, and dice come into play. And sometimes you can have your ship set up in such a way that you get to roll a certain dice, and then if that dice rolls a certain way, you get more dice to roll, and they all are going to help you get around the track faster. And it's a lot of fun. It's another one that is relatively easy to learn, as long as you understand like deck building and that kind of thing. It's pretty simple. Again, like I said in the video that I did for No Enemies Here, we played it with my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law one afternoon, and we were able to get, I think, 2 games in the afternoon, and they'd never played it before, and they thoroughly enjoyed it as well. So Steampunk Rally, definitely a great pick, and it is a lot of fun, and it is very addicting because you want to win, and you want to build a ship bigger and better than the last one you did. So definitely a good pick. What am I on? 5? Yeah, 5. All right, for number 5, another recent one. This one we just did the other day. I don't remember if we filmed. Did we film a playthrough of this one? I cannot remember. If we did, I don't know if it's going to be up yet or not. But this one was so much fun. It was surprising. I did a guesses on it, and I didn't even know what to expect with it. I had no idea when I just looked at the box what it was going to be about or what the idea of it was going to be. But I have to say, playing it with Gimpy the other night and actually sitting down and learning it, it wasn't too much. It was a little confusing at first, but once you play a couple of rounds, you really get the hang of it. It's one of those, for me, once I start doing, I pick it up pretty quickly. So this one is historically based. So that's one thing that I do enjoy about some games. I like it when I can learn as I'm playing. And this one is a good example of that because it is definitely based on history, and it talks about certain events and certain people and things that happened. So I learned some things while playing it the other night, which is always a plus. And then I also love that you're working together and you can give and take things from each other. And basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to kill Hitler. You are trying to stop Hitler and his team of goons from succeeding. And the cool thing about this that I mentioned in my unboxing, or I don't know if it was in my unboxing or if it was in the playthrough that we did, but there is a card in the deck and it says #WeKilledHitler. And what you're supposed to do is if you actually win, which yes, it is a lot harder than you think to win this game, you post a picture of you and your group holding that with the #WeKilledHitler on social medias, and they will, you know, tag you. It's kind of just a way to brag about you beating the game. Now, when I first saw that, I thought, that's so cool. We're going to get to post a picture of this. I've never seen a game that included a little #WeWon. But now I understand why, because we've played this 1 or 2 times and we've lost. We both got arrested the first time we played. So this one, again, is one, like I said, it's easy. Once you start getting into it, you really understand the play. But you have to play it more than once to figure out the nuances of it, because there were some things that we were not focusing on at all, which ended up costing us the game. Like, we weren't worried about, there's certain levels, motivation and suspicion are 2 of the levels that you have to worry about in the game, and different things that you do or different cards that happen or different events that happen can trigger those things to go up or down. And we weren't too worried about our suspicion, and unfortunately that ended up costing us the game at the end. So we definitely want to give it another stab and try and beat them and try and take Hitler down, because we were doing pretty well, except for we weren't paying attention to our suspicion. So it's a lot of fun. There's a bunch of different people you can play as, and it is, again, a cooperative game. And I think it can be played solitaire as well, if I do remember. Yeah, 1 to 5. So this is another one that can be played solitaire. It's just a lot of fun. I think it would be a really good game night. Like, if you have a game night with your friends once a month where you just sit down and play a game that takes a few hours, this one would be a good one. This one says it's a 90-minute playtime. It took us, I would say, about an hour, hour and a half. So that sounds about right. But we also lost. So if we hadn't lost, could have gone a little bit longer. But this one is definitely a new favorite, and it is very recent, but I am obsessed. And I also love the box. I love the colors of it. It's dark. And the cool thing about this too, really quickly before I keep rambling all night, is that when you have the board set up, there's cards that go in a certain order, and everything on the board has its perfect little place. It has it outlined where to put it, and the cards are color coordinated, so it goes from, I think, black to red, or red to black, I don't remember which way, and it does the same thing on the board. It's just so easy and so well put together, and it's just a really cool looking game, not to mention how cool it is to play. So Black Orchestra for number 5. For number 4, another new one. This one I talked about on and on and on and on and on about since the WBC. This is one I saw played there. I actually got to meet the designer of this and watch his interview with Mo from Mo's Game Table. And so I got to hear him talk about this game and the changes that he had made to this new edition. And I got to just sit there and see what all went into this game and the reasons behind different things. So this one, when I watched it played, I knew I was going to be intrigued by it, but I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. Have you guessed it yet? Atlantic Storm. So yes, we waited for this one for a little while. It sold out at WBC. It was gone. I mean, I think the day that it launched, it was gone. It does come with, or not come with a mat, but there is a mat available that you can get separate to play with this. And I tell you, I saw it at the WBC and I want the mat. It's so cool. It's so pretty. The blue is so deep on it. And it just makes it seem like, I don't know, it just, you want the mat. You're not going to see that mat played with this and not want to get it for yourself. So this is one of my new favorites. It's another war game, so it is based in history. One of my favorite things I'm going to have to show you, because we haven't done our playthrough of this yet, is the cards. There's not very many cards. There's, I think, 3 decks, and they have actual pictures on them. Is that one? Yeah. So like this one right here has the actual picture from, I'm assuming, a historically based picture, but I like the realness of it. I like the colors of it. It's simple, yet it's very, very in depth, and there is a lot of strategy to it, but it isn't too much that I feel like I can't handle it. It's just a lot of fun. We played it. I think I won. I think we played a couple of games, and I think I won one and he won one. It's just really, really fun. Basically, you're playing as different ships or different people. You're not really playing as anything specifically. You're playing cards, and you're trying to beat the next person's hand. Now, when I saw it played, there was 4 people playing it. And so when they were playing it with 4 people, they could choose to team up together and take someone else out. So they could add their cards together to take somebody else out. We could not do that when you're just playing with 2 people because there's just 2 people. But it's just a lot of fun. There are just so many things I love about it. I like the size of the cards. I like the ease of it. I like that there's not a ton of things that go with it. There are dice. There are certain things that you can do, certain cards that you can play in certain orders that can benefit you and that can greatly improve your chances of winning. And it's another one where you're kind of collecting things. So at each hand that you win, you get to collect a victory point essentially from that, because there's 2 cards that go in the middle that whoever is the leader that turn picks a card, and that's the card that you're basically trying to, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like your reference card. It basically tells you where to start, and whoever wins that round gets that card, and then any opposing side of them, they get that. So I'm not explaining it very well. I'll be able to explain it much, much better when I have the cards laid out in front of me. It's a not a deck building game. It's a game where you are just trying to beat the other person's hand, and at the end of the game, whoever has the most points in their, discard wins. So it's very straight and to the point, but there are so many cool factors of it. So Atlantic Storm, definitely love, obsessed with it. That is my number 4. Number 3, I feel like these last few are pretty new, especially these next 2 are very new. This one is a GMT. Did I say who this one was by? I did not. I can't believe that. Duh. Lock and Load. How could I not say that? I just talked about how I met the designer. I obviously met the people at the publishing company. So Atlantic Storm is by Lock and Load, so go check them out. I think it's back in stock on their website. And I think the playmat will be back in stock soon. So definitely go check it out. Lock and Load, Publishing, Atlantic Storm. So now on to number 4. This one is a GMT, and this is another kind of Eurostyle, but it's a lot different than any Eurostyle I've played. It's called Dominant Species. I think I just posted a picture of us playing this. We haven't done the playthrough yet, but this one was a lot of fun. Mainly because it has a ton of different colored cubes that go into this game. You have just so many different things. It's obviously talking about animals, so there is a food chain. You can play anybody, mammals, reptiles, amphibians, insects, birds, and something else. I don't remember. I don't remember all of them, but there's spiders, that's right. It's so much fun. I obviously played as amphibians. Well, not obviously. My favorite animal is a frog. I love frogs. So I played as the amphibians. So that is one reason I love this game, because it actually gave me the choice to play as an amphibian. I like that you're trying to basically beat the Ice Age from happening. Like once the Ice Age happens, whoever has the most surviving wins. You want to be the dominant species. And there are different boons for each of the species on the food chain. Like amphibians have a greater starting off benefit than all the others do. But insects multiply quicker, so they get to add a free species to the board each turn. There's all different benefits for depending on which species you play as, but it's also cool because you are picking essentially what keeps you alive, what benefits you, and you can change it. When you're placing your workers, which is your species, when you're placing them, you can affect how well you do based on what you pick. And then there are some events that will happen that can eliminate you, that can really hurt you, or that can really help you. There are some options on the worker placement side of it where you can directly take out an opposing species. It's just got a lot of different aspects to it, but it's a lot of fun. And I'll admit, when we were first learning it, I was like, there's so much to this. I'm never going to learn it in one night. There's no way we're going to actually play it. But it was, once again, we started getting into the play and we started going through it. a few turns in, I had it down. And this one took us a couple of days because we can't just sit down and play a game start to finish. We have 2 kids. We have to get sleep sometimes. So it usually takes us a few evenings to finish a big game like this. And it took us, I think, 2. It's just a lot of fun. And it's one where you're not really trying to collect things as much as you're trying to expand your species. And then at the end, you're going to tally up your points. There is a little point tracker, like if you can see right here, around the board that keeps track of your victory points. And so you add all that up at the end. And then there are some cards that will give you different benefits and things like that. So it's just a lot of fun. It is very different from any other worker placement because the sole purpose of this one is not to collect as much as it is to spread your seed and populate the planet. So dominant species, definitely a great pick. Number 2, this one is by Stronghold Games. This is another new one, Terraforming Mars. Now, I say it is a new one only because we just recently started playing this. It has been on our shelf for months, and I am so ashamed to say that because this is my number 2. This is my number 2 out of all the games I've played, out of all the games I love. This is my number 2 because it is my favorite type, which is a Eurostyle. It's worker placement, but it is different. You're not building a farm, and what you do does affect your opponent in good ways and in bad ways. So sometimes you have to help them to be able to help yourself. There's a lot of different components to this. It is exactly what it says. You are trying to terraform Mars. You are trying to make Mars inhabitable. And basically you have 3 things that you need to do for the game to end. You need to raise the oxygen, you need to get all the oceans laid down, and you need to get the temperature maxed out. Once you've done those 3 things, that signifies the end of the game. This one is like a Eurostyle because you are collecting things. So you have like energy and you have heat and plants and different things you're collecting. You can pay on like a turn or a worker placement area to build forests or oceans or cities. You get cards each hand as well, where they affect different things. They can allow you to build something for cheaper. They can allow you to lower one of your ratings and raise another one. It just has a lot of aspects to it, but it's a lot of fun. And I think this one has like a built-in kind of expansion with it because there's cards that can be played or not be played that totally change the game. And you play as a corporation. So there is a beginning corporation, which makes it super easy for those of us that are just starting off with the game. If you haven't played it before, the beginning corporation is great for exactly what it says, beginning. And it makes it really easy. It's just a lot of fun, and I love the space theme of it. It's different. Agricola, Caverna, those are all very similar. They are different, and I love them both. But they have a lot of similarities in that you're just trying to build up your farm. You're trying to accumulate things. Whereas this one, yes, you're accumulating things, but you're trying to populate the planet. And when you build something, it is going to benefit somebody. So you have to be very mindful of where you build things, and you have to pay close attention to certain cards in your hand because some cards can only be played if you've already played other cards. And with this one, victory points are kept every time you build something or you raise the temperature or the oxygen. You get to move your points up the tracker. It's laid out right here in front of me. You can't see it, but I just pointed to it. There's a victory point tracker around it, just like with most of those games. And you get to move that up with different things that you do throughout your turn. And then at the end, you're going to tally up in your hand. You're going to keep every card you've played because number 1, like I just said, some cards, in order to be played, you need to have already played X amount of those cards already with a certain tag on the top. So it's very in-depth, but it's very simple what the purpose is. Like the point of the game is to make it inhabitable. And I really like the theme of it. I like the way it's set up. I like how organized it is. And I love the cubes. They are not like super colorful, but I like that they're shiny and they're really fun. So Terraforming Mars definitely made it into number 2. Not by mistake. It is a great game. If you love these kinds of games and you've never played one that's centered around space before, definitely pick it up. I don't know what you're waiting for. It's incredible. So that is my number 2 pick, Terraforming Mars. All right. Now on to my honorable mentions. I'm not going to go as in-depth with these, or I'm going to try not to. This first one, these are in no specific order. I just threw these up. So these are not in order of anything, just random. But Escape the Curse of the Temple. We also have another one of these called Escape Zombie City, and they are very similar. It's just the theme is different. This one you're escaping a temple. That one you're escaping a zombie city. And it is a very fast-paced, very high-energy game. It is a dice rolling game, and you're building a map, and you're trying to, in this one, again, escape a temple, and in that one you're escaping a zombie city. And with the zombie one, there are zombies that will pop up on the game or on the board that will make it a little harder. This one, you're not necessarily having to fight any type of creature. You're just trying to collect certain things and then get out before it ends. Now, the cool thing with these is they are run by a soundtrack. There is a musical number, if you will, that goes with it that has different sound cues in it that kind of keeps the energy up, but it also tells you when certain things happen. So basically with this one, what you're trying to do is you're trying to make it out of the city or out of the temple, and it will tell you escape and you will begin. And basically, quick version of it is you're going to be trying to reveal the escape tile, the end tile. And in order to reveal new tiles, you have to roll certain things on your dice. In order to move into different rooms, you have to do certain things with the dice. So you're constantly rolling. It's very quick. I think this one is 10 minutes and the zombie one is 15 minutes. So you know that if you have somewhere to be, this is a great one to just play a quick game before bed or a quick game before work. It's really, really fast paced. A lot of fun to play with multiple people. Great party game. Amazing. I love it. Can't say enough about it. So that is Escape the Curse of the Temple by Queen Games. Another honorable mention is going to be Energy Empire. This one is different in that you're building an energy empire. It's exactly like the title says. This one is by Minion Games. That's what it looks like, Minion Games. It's the Manhattan Project Energy Empire. It is so much fun. You are trying to collect things. You're trying to get different buildings, and you're trying to basically be friendly to the planet while building up your energy empire, being mindful of pollutions and that kind of thing. There are cards that will come out and you have the option to buy them or to pass on them. And just, I don't remember, it's been a little bit since we've played this one, but you are collecting different things. You have different workers that you can get more of each time, and you place them and they do different things that will gain you different things that will in turn allow you to build more things or to buy more buildings. So it's another one where you're building, and it is competitive and it's a lot of fun, and the pieces in this are incredible. I love how detailed and how unique the little pieces that you're collecting are in this. So this is a good one if you love that energy kind of feel to a Eurostyle game. So Energy Empire by Minion Games. Last but not least, I'm showing these because this is pretty much what makes up this last honorable mention. That is Dice Masters. And a lot of people, for some reason, haven't heard of it. We were at a store the other day. I was trying to find some of these mystery packs. And I asked the people behind the counter, do you have any of the Dice Masters mystery packs? And they said, Dice what? And I was like, am I saying the name wrong? I had to go up to Gimpy and say, Gimpy, is that not what the game is called? Because they're looking at me like I am crazy. Well, their manager ended up walking out with the box and said, yes, we do have them. They're just in the back. They're not as popular anymore. But I'm telling you, if you haven't heard of this game, check it out. Go find videos. We're going to probably do a video on this one because it's been a while since we've played it, but I am obsessed with it. It is a dice rolling game to the core. In fact, these are the ones we already have, just to show you. These are all of the cards we have for Dice Masters. And we have a box up there on the top that you can't see that is full of the dice. We have it all organized. I would compare this, I guess, to Magic, except for it has dice involved with it. And it is very fast-paced. It also has a cool little mat that you can get, all different mats. But you do need the mat, or it makes it easier if you have the mat to play this. And another cool thing is that they have all different varieties of these cards. So like this one is Faerun Under Siege, Dungeons and Dragons, and this one is War of Light, which is, I think, Marvel or DC. I'm not sure which one, but DC. But you have all different ones, but they're mystery packs, so you don't know what you're going to get, and it's different every time because you can decide which cards and which dice you play as, and you don't necessarily know what they're going to be playing as, so you don't know if what you have is going to work with them or against them. It's a lot of fun, and it's a really addicting game because I always want to be bigger and better and win. But this one's a lot of fun. It's been a little bit since I played it, so I don't remember like all the little details of this one, but it's a lot of fun, and it's something that I remember when we first played it. I was like, I'm never gonna like this. I'm never gonna like it. And then we played it, and I was like, I'm gonna play it again because I loved the mat, how organized it was. You have so many spaces to put your cards and your dice, and then it's, you take turns going and you battle. It's just a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. It is Dice Masters. Definitely check it out. And before I go on to my number one pick for my favorite game of all time, I did want to say there is going to be a part 2 for this video, as I mentioned at the beginning. Part 2 of my celebration of my 30th birthday is going to be me opening up 30 of these. So if that sounds boring to you, I'm sorry. But a lot of people like that. And I think it's fun to watch people open these mystery packs because you don't know what you're going to get. And since it's my birthday and I'm turning 30, I thought, why not? It would be like opening 30 presents. So it should be a lot of fun. I'm going to let Bradley help me because he likes opening these mystery packs as well. He's at the perfect age for that. So I'll let him help me, but we're going to be opening up some of these for part 2. So that'll probably be up in a couple of days. But yeah, that concludes my honorable mentions. So now on to my favorite game of all time. And I can say that confidently. This is my favorite game. In fact, before we started filming, I was going through the components of it, and Gimpy was saying, like, I think I want to play that now. Like, now I want to get it out and play it because it's been a while since we've played, and going through it, we both remembered how much we loved this. This one is a very in-depth one. I think it was easier for us to play when we just had Bradley. It's been harder since having McKenna, but we definitely want to make time for this one because it's such a good game. It is not this, but this is part of it. And I'm going to set this right here because this is part of it, which is crazy. And I just showed you this for Dice Masters, but it's in the back. So this one is by Flying Frog Productions. Ooh. Another reason why I love this game is because it's by a company called Flying Frog Productions. Shadows of Brimstone, Swamps of Death. This is an absolutely, let me scoot over something, you can still see me. This is an absolutely incredible game, and I've never played anything like it. Descent is the closest thing I could compare this to, except for Descent, you don't carry on. Once you finish your campaign, like you finish your campaign, I think there's like 3 games in a campaign, and then once that's over with, you're done. With this one, your character stays. You keep what you've earned. So whatever I earn in this current game, a lot of it I can take with me. My character can level up. I can accumulate more money and experience points. I can accumulate new weapons, and those weapons can stay with me and carry on into another game. I love that. I love that it is Wild West meets monsters. I love the models with this, like the detail in them and how cool they are and how much fun it was to paint them. I absolutely loved that. We used to have so much fun playing this game. We would play it every night when the kids would go to bed, or when Bradley would go to bed, we would play it for a couple hours. It's just a lot of fun. And it is, what's it called? Like a campaign kind of game where you're trying to basically defeat certain people or things in different areas. There is an aspect of this where you get to do some gambling, so that's always fun. And you can buy things at different places. You move through this like western town. And yeah, sometimes you're fighting cowboys, sometimes you're fighting monsters. It just depends, but it's a lot of fun. And this one has a lot of components to it, but that's part of the reason I love it. So this is all Dice Masters. I already showed you that. This is where Shadows of Brimstone starts. So I just have it organized because there are different stores where you can buy different things, and there's a card for all those things because, like I said, you keep that. If you buy something, it's yours. And unless it says that it can only be used once, you can carry it on with you to another game. So I just organized it based on the place, and it has like a little menu of a list of things you can buy. Some of them are services, some of them are things, and I put them in order based on the menu just to make it easier. But just to give you an example, we have blacksmith, so you have like weapons and horses. We have the church, you can buy like spells and different things like that. The doctor's office where you can get, Band-Aids and healing accessories, things like that. We have the frontier outpost, so different, cowboy things that you would need. We have Frontier Town. We have the gambling hall, my favorite spot. There's like little mini games you can play in between your game if you want to, and they're addicting because you can win a lot of money, but you can also lose a lot of money. So we often get stuck here because we just want to keep gambling. I think they have a limit on how much you can gamble because they know you would just keep doing it. It's just like the games at the WBC in the game room. I won the jackpot and I wanted to continue playing till I won the jackpot again, and it was a kid's game. So they know what they're doing, and they do it in here too. We have the general store, again, you know, weapons, bullets, that kind of thing, hats. Indian trading post. I can keep going. I mean, it goes all the way to back here. These are all things and places you can go to in this game, and there are expansions available for this. So it just keeps growing. It reminds me of World of Warcraft, only because with that one there isn't just one task at hand. You're constantly evolving, you're constantly moving from place to place. Same thing with this, and you have a team of people that you're working with. It is so much fun. I could honestly talk about this game forever. It's just so much fun. So Shadows of Brimstone, Swamps of Death by Flying Frog Productions. It says 1 to 4 players. We've only played it with the 2 of us. In fact, if we do play it, we're just going to pick up where we left off. But it can be played up to 4 players. It says 90 to 180 minutes. That is per game. But your character stays the same from game to game. You can choose to start over if you want. But I just think it's so cool that if I got this really badass weapon in the game we just finished, I can keep that weapon and my character and my money and use that in the next game that we play. And I just love how much there is to it and how the pieces all come together, and they're so intricate and fun to paint. So that definitely is not, again, a game that's on here by mistake. I really love this game. And I hope that you guys will let me know out of all of these if you've tried any of them, and if you have, what your favorite is. And also if you'd like to see any of these either in a live playthrough or Gimpys Gal shows you how, I'd be happy to do that. But I thank you so much for joining me for my 30th birthday video and sharing my top 10 favorite games of all time with you guys. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and check us out on our social medias. He'll have that listed down below, and we will see you guys next time. Bye!